A warm welcome to you, our viewers. Welcome to The Link for this week. We always maintain our promise to give you information that you can use, including opportunities. Tonight we seem to have both and more information, and tonight we're focusing on startups. We are asking ourselves, what is the ideal Ugandan startup? We're not the ones who make the standard, but we are going to discuss and tell us what you think, the ideal Ugandan standard. And it is derived from this book called The Ideal Startup. And I have the author in the studio who's going to tell us about what he thinks. And he did research concerning Ugandan startups, the Ugandan context. He's going to share with us some experiences. And he's Mr. Nicholas Aruho, who is a business analyst and author. Nicholas, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sam, for having me.
We've borrowed the title of the book you wrote, Ideal Startup. We've added the word Ugandan startup.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Because in reading the book, I found that you focused a lot on the Ugandan context. And in the book, you also did a lot of interviews for Ugandan entrepreneurs who have managed to navigate. And viewers, there are so many challenges we have in Uganda, capital, and etc. And there's a lot of lamentation. But there are people who have succeeded against those odds. And tonight we want to discuss what Nicholas tell us when he was doing writing the book. What did he have in mind? We want to glean on some of his experiences to tell us. Nicholas, let me start with the first thing. I promised to make it last, but let me start with it. There is something you called in your book the lean startup.
Yes.
And it seems to be ideal for the Ugandan startup. Tell us, what is this lean startup? What did you mean?
Okay, thank you so much, Sam, once again, and good evening, viewers. The lean startup, it means that as you go through your startup journey, you're trying to make your product work on your product or service. There is what they call a minimum viable product. So as you're still developing, you don't wait for it to be perfect. Minimum viable product. Minimum viable product, meaning that you've developed and reached somewhere, but you feel that this product where it has reached, I can take it to the market and test it. It is not yet perfect, it is not yet 100%, it doesn't have all the features, but it has the basic features that I can take to the market, so you use it for experimentation. So you are able to take it to the market, then the first consumers, the first customers will help you. The feedback you get from these first consumers will help you such that you make the necessary changes. And sometimes you can actually go to the market and you realize you actually need to change a lot about this product. There is what they call pivoting. You may find you need to change the strategy altogether and build something completely new. Or you may be lucky and you find that you just have a few things which you need to work on and make it a perfect product. Now, it helps you such that you don't waste a lot of time and money building something the market doesn't want. Yeah,
I was going to ask that. What's the advantage of taking? So you say, when I'm doing, I get a product, I test it, instead of doing the prior research, which consumes a lot of money, I just take the product to the market.
Yes, because now this is a real product, and you are taking it to a real customer. You know, you will do the research, but there is always something extra when it comes to the real product. That's why sometimes the research may be so positive, but then when you go into the real market,
the reality is different.
The reality becomes, so now here you are facing the reality in advance. As you take it to the market, it saves you time and money. So you are able to spend less time and less money, and then you come up with a final product in less time while you've used less resources. Yes.
That's very important. Viewers, you had the ideal, sorry, not the ideal, he called it the lean
startup.
Yes, the lean startup.
Yes.
You don't have to go through the cycles. You can actually do, in his book, he says shortcut, carefully. Nicholas, let's move on. In the book, again, you refer to many points, but I just zeroed down on one. From your experience as a business analyst, speaking of startups, which are the big issue in the book, what are the 3 big reasons why startups in Uganda fail? And we don't want to say capital. Everybody will go to say capital. We don't want to go there. Even when they have the capital, they can fail. What are the 3 big reasons you know that startups might fail in Uganda?
Okay, thank you so much. Now, the main reasons that startups may fail, you have things like planning. You find that many of us are not doing proper planning. So we come in and we rush into building something or starting a business without doing proper planning. So you find someone didn't do any market plan. Someone didn't look at the competitors, someone didn't look at the taxes that I will pay, someone didn't look at the nature of product and how to build it, how do I brand it. So you just come in, because you find that most of the people are starting business maybe because they have lost their job. So or all of a sudden you've retired, or you fail to get a job, so you start. You've not done any planning. So that is one of the major reasons, because you've entered without proper planning, and therefore it will be hard for you to get it right. And then, of course, there are governance issues. You will find that, well, you may have the idea, but then you lack the leadership aspect. Or if they are partners, if it's a partnership, you have disagreements that now affect the successful running of the
failure of the partnership.
Yes, failure of the partnership and other leadership challenges that you get. And of course, there is poor product market fit. So you find that the product you are bringing to the market is actually not fit for the Ugandan market. Yes.
So illustrate that.
Yes. Now, the poor product market fit, you may see a product or service that is being offered in another market, maybe in the Western world. So you think you can bring it here, but you've not done enough research to find out, does the Ugandan consumer actually need this product?
Nicholas, that makes me remember there's a guy who brought, you know, these car washers, auto car washers. You just enter and the stuff washes. It looked exotic, but he never really took off because at some point a nail entered one of those washers and it just scratched somebody's car. That's one of the incidents they had, but then it never really took off. Because people, there was a lot of washing bays around which are cheaper and all that.
Because people are used to the washing bay. They know you got the washing bay and they wash the car. So whereas it may be an interesting product, but it may take long for people to understand it. And you may, and during that time, how are you going to run the business when it's not bringing in the revenue?
Let me give you an example. The first reason you gave was planning. If I'm going to do a boutique in Chira, do I need planning?
Yes, you do. You need to move around Chira. And you see the boutiques which are there. You see the kind of items they are selling. You need to ask the people, you need to find out who are the kind of people that stay in Chira. Such that you map out your typical customer. So in Chira, who is my typical customer? What kind of clothes do they put on? Because now you may go to town and you see so many certain dresses downtown and you bring them, but this may not be for the people of Chira. So you must understand the nature of people in Chira. You look at the other businesses in Chira, the other boutiques, you see how they are doing, which items are moving faster. Are they ladies' clothes? Are they gents' clothes? Are they kids' clothes? Which price range? Which quality do they want?
Including location.
Including location. So you must look at all those things. Otherwise, the boutique, which is doing very well in Nansana, may not do well in Chira.
Absolutely. Thank you. From your book, you refer to scholars debating whether entrepreneurs are born or made. Why do entrepreneurs succeed? Is it because I am born? Or what?
Okay, it's two-way. Now, there are those who are born with certain character traits. They have a high appetite for taking risk. You know, they are very resilient. They believe in, they have a high sense of self-belief. They are self-starters. These are people that are not going to give up. They are going to do, even if others don't believe in their idea, they will go ahead. Now, there are those who are born with that, and many of them are able to succeed as entrepreneurs. But some of these things can be learned. It is not that if you are not born resilient, you cannot be resilient.
You cannot learn resilience.
You cannot learn resilience. Because now, as long as you have the basics right, if you've done your marketing plan right, you've done your research the way we talked about, the resilience will come because time will come when you find that you have to be resilient, because you put in your money and you
can't bail out.
You can't just close and go home. So there are those two aspects where there are those where those things will come naturally, but there are those who need to learn. But the bottom line is both types will need to learn. Okay. Because learning never stops. Even if you have those other character traits, you will need to learn marketing. You will need to learn branding.
You don't know everything.
You will need to learn leadership. You will need to. So the bottom line is that we all have to learn. And once we learn, that's where books like the Ideal Startup come. That's where other books that have been written and other platforms where you can get this information. So it becomes very, very important for you to learn.
Very good. We want to take a short break. We are going to come back with more of this conversation as we are. Nicholas is just giving us a little bit of insight into the Ideal Startup, right up the book he authored there, and what we can learn from there. We are gleaning from it. Join us, don't go away, after the break. Welcome back from the short break, and we are continuing with our discussion today. The Ideal Ugandan Startup, derived from this book, The Ideal Startup, written by my guest, Nicholas Aro, who is a business analyst and author. So Nicholas, before we went for the break, we were discussing entrepreneurship, and now we want to move on. In the book, you mentioned also that most Ugandan businesses are copycats.
Yes.
What's wrong with copying? If I could do the job better than the one I'm copying from?
Yes. Now, copying is not necessarily bad. Most Ugandan businesses are copycats. You find every mall has almost the same kind of business. Now, copying is not bad if you are able to do it well. Now, the first question you ask yourself when you are copying is, why should the customer come to me instead of the already existing business? Because you're copying other businesses. So why should the customer leave the others and come to you?
So you're already doing some thinking.
Yes. It means you have looked at the available businesses. You've seen the weaknesses they have. You've seen a gap that you can now come in and utilize. Then you copy and you now cover that gap. Then the customer will come to you. Maybe you've seen that their customer service is not good. They have all the necessary issues, but the customer service is not good. So you feel that I have an advantage here. I know how to give proper customer service. Or I can serve them faster. Or if I'm able to be more efficient, then I can have a lower price. So it means copying in its own is not bad, but as you copy, you must look at that one thing, at least that one thing that will make the customer come to you instead of the other existing business people.
So what I'm taking away from you, Nicholas, here is that copy, but if I am copying and I'm actually improving things, it's not entirely copying. I am adding something to the copying. I'm only referencing.
Yes, you're actually just utilizing the market because when you move around the market, you are seeing a product that is already doing well. That means you are already sure that this product has customers. and you already have people you can benchmark on. So it helps you in a way, instead of coming up with a product with no market, because sometimes the risk with coming up with completely a new product is that you could make a product that has no market. You build a product and then no one wants to buy it.
Let me use the example of Chira. I like Chira very much for all the reasons in the world. I see a lot of pharmacies. And I do know that because there are many, some of them, their turnover is basic. They're basically maybe breaking even, yet they could have done better. If, for example, I had a pharmacy, I'm copying. How would I make a difference to beat the person I'm copying from?
Now if you are, and that's a good example of pharmacies. Now wherever you go, there are so many pharmacies. And because now people have heard that there is money in pharmacy.
It seems there is money.
Some are making money, but others are not making. Because you know, in every business there will always be someone making money and someone losing money.
True.
So now, if you are starting a new pharmacy in Chira, there are already many pharmacies. Now you also need to ask yourself, you are selling the same drugs. So what will be your advantage? Is it that for you, the location you've chosen has better parking? Where you think that someone will easily come to you because there is better parking? Are you going to operate extra working hours such that you have more time serving clients? Are you going to give faster service? Are you going to do a drive-through so that if some doesn't want to come out of his car, he can
just serve you?
So there must be something.
Border delivery?
Are you going to, all these things? There must be something that you feel, some advantage that you feel you will have. So copying is okay, but let me leave the dots there. If you want to get to know, you don't become like this. You know, when we are still in school, there are people who would copy and even copy your name. But there are those who knew how to copy. They would copy, they get the idea, then they change the words a little bit, and it becomes their answer.
Okay, very interesting. Our final question, Nicholas, tonight. As a startup, when should I realize that my dream or passion will not take off, despite having faith, resilience, dedication? When?
You know, in life, it is important to know when to leave. Much as we advise people not to give up, but it is also important to know when to leave. So now, regarding business startups, if you have gone into the market and you have seen that there is no market for this product, because you know, there may be a gap in the market, but is there a market in that gap? Sometimes you build a product, but you don't have enough market to make it commercially viable. So if you've gone into the market, you've tried your best, you've tried to do marketing, you've tried to do branding, you've tried, but you've seen that the market for this product will not be enough. So it means that you either have to pivot, you change the product, or you do something else. Because you see also, failure of a business idea doesn't mean failure of an entrepreneur. So this idea can fail, but you see how to change it a little bit.
I like what you said then.
Failure of an idea does not mean failure of an entrepreneur. Maybe you had developed a product for high-end market. You realized the Ugandan market is not yet enough for so many high-end customers. Then now you can scale it down. You develop a low-end product. So that can be one of the products. But if you've gone into the market and you've seen that there's no market for that product, then it's time to either pivot or change or leave it altogether. If you've done the financial analysis and you're seeing that the cash flow is not going to come because of different reasons, or if you've seen that you don't have the necessary skills. Because you know, sometimes we go in thinking things are easy. Then once you go into the real world, into the field, you realize there are actually extra skills I may not have.
And I don't have them.
And I don't have them, and you have failed to get the right people who can do it for me. Then it may not be so
or scaling up, if I'm failing to scale, or adding a dimension, or without pivoting, adding to the product, I don't have enough money.
Yes, because you know, you will always need more money than you. When you are planning, usually when you start, you always need more money. Whether it is business, whether it is building a house, you always need more money.
Yeah.
So now you may discover that you actually need much more money than you thought, and you're not seeing good prospects of getting that money. Or it may be because of, you know, in Uganda, presence is still a very big factor. Okay. You may have started thinking, I have my friend Sam who is going to manage for me the business.
And he doesn't.
I work at NTV. Then now, the reality has set in, you realize this business will only run when I'm there.
And you can't quit.
And you can't quit. So, and that's the catch-22 with most employees, most professionals.
Yeah.
They want to maintain their jobs, but they also want to run the business.
You may not be able to do both.
So now, many of them, if you don't do it well, you lose the money because you are not quitting the job. Okay. So now, those aspects, if you realize early, then you need to end it there or to pivot, and you change the product.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. I wish we would go ahead. I mean, this discussion is evidently cut short, but again, as I said in his book, The Ideal Startup, there's more of that, and he does profile many real business people that you know. He spoke to them and interviewed them. I remember reading one of them who says, at some point, becoming an entrepreneur was too stressful for me. I felt like life is very difficult. And that entrepreneur had to turn around that spot in order to continue resilience, if you like it. So you hear these words, but when you get into the real action of entrepreneurship, it can be tough. So do you think you can be an entrepreneur? Read Nicholas's book, The Ideal Startup, and he shares many experiences. And we brought him to the studio to share with us some of the experiences firsthand. And we want to thank him. We hope added value to you tonight. That was The Link.